一边卖房子一边哭的，你见过吗？
Have you ever seen someone selling a house while crying? Today, I saw it for the second time. The first time was when I sold my own house. Today, a man sold his home in Peacock City. Back in 2017, he bought it for 1.5 million yuan, plus a parking spot for 400,000. Today, he sold it for just 200,000. He lost 1.7 million. At the time of signing, he couldn't hold back anymore. And then I cried too. He just couldn't accept it, just like I couldn't when I sold my house. The agent was negotiating at the owner's home. The woman had bought her house for 7 million yuan. Now it's listed at 5.5 million. The buyer countered with 5 million. Suddenly, she broke down, screaming and crying. In the end, we heard yelling and the sounds of things being torn apart. The agent just sat there, staring helplessly at his phone, recording what was happening.
赶紧卖房，别说我没提前告诉你。
Sell your house quickly. Don't say I didn't tell you in advance. 2025 is the last year to offload property. Stop hesitating. If you can sell, sell it. Cut it clean and fast.
天都塌了，原来400-500万的。
Another agent exclaimed, "The sky has collapsed. Villas that once cost 4 or 5 million can now be taken for just 7 or 800,000. And this is right along the Beijing subway line. 3 stops and you're at the third ring. From the Temple of Heaven on the second ring, it's only 4 or 5 stops away. And the surroundings are complete. Shopping malls within a few hundred meters, a park right outside, KFC, McDonald's, and cinemas." The villa has 3 floors, around 200 square meters in total, with a big yard. What used to get you a small high-rise apartment can now get you a villa. I don't know how the original owner feels, but it must be unbearable. Suddenly, Beijing's housing market is collapsing. Prices in the fourth ring, once sky-high, have dropped to 20,000 yuan per square meter. Beyond the fifth ring, the fall is even more shocking, with the prices in some neighborhoods cut in half. Shenzhen and Shanghai are also hit hard, with many so-called golden areas losing more than 50% of their value. Empty apartments sit untouched, and no one knows when the market will bottom out. One Beijing resident shared, "Homebuyers here have been wiped out. Prices in the fourth ring once reached over 100,000 yuan per square meter. Now you can find ready-to-move-in apartments in the Asian Games Village for 26,000 per square meter, open to anyone." An agent added, in 2023, a client bought a place for 12.3 million yuan. Last month, the same model in the same community sold for 8.8 million. That client still owes the bank 9 million in loans. I'm really worried a lot of people won't be able to hold on. This agent sincerely told everyone that 2025 will be a year of huge changes in Beijing's property market. If you don't sell your house now, you'll lose the last chance. Don't even think about buying anymore, she said.
北京目前政策大多都在救新房。
Currently, most of Beijing's policies are focused on supporting new homes, talent subsidies, related home purchase subsidies, lower down payments, and lower interest rates are all aimed at new homes. Secondhand homes are like the stepchildren. They don't even get the leftovers. Many new properties are priced lower than second-hand homes. The new developments in the same area offer better space efficiency, better exteriors, landscaping, and clubhouses, yet they're cheaper than second-hand homes. Who can accept that? If you compare, everyone would want to buy a new home. If you're planning to sell, do it quickly. Don't ask whether the price will go up again, especially for old, run-down places. If someone's buying, sell quickly. The longer you wait, the less it'll be worth. Don't keep dreaming that prices will rise again. She also mentioned that over the past few years, the government has repeatedly emphasized stopping the price decline and stabilizing the market, but real estate sales are still down. Beijing, as a super first-tier city, has intense job competition, and in many industries, wages don't match the high living costs. Beijing has many universities, but the number of highly educated talent staying in Beijing isn't as high as expected, mainly because of employment conditions and wages. Some mid- and low-end properties in Beijing have entered a frozen period. These areas on the outskirts have little development potential, lack amenities, and their prices used to be high. Now they've dropped dramatically. Some prices have halved, and in some cases, it's been a crash to rock bottom. If you're waiting for prices to rise before selling, it's just a dream. These properties will only fall further behind others in surrounding areas. Finally, she said, ordinary people should buy homes within their means. Even though there are many policies, adjustments for first and second home down payments, lower second-hand home interest rates, lower property prices, etc., you still need to face reality. You need to know what your budget can handle, and absolutely avoid high leverage to buy a home. Think carefully. Does this house suit you? Can you afford the monthly payments? If the pressure's too much, it'll lead to disaster. After all, buying a home should be for a better life, not to end up unable to pay the monthly bills. A real estate agent familiar with Beijing's surrounding area said,
北京周边的炒房客
Real estate speculators around Beijing are all wiped out. No one is spared. The market around Beijing has already played out this scene. The high point for the Beijing surrounding area was in 2017. Back then, the price in places like Yanjiao exceeded 40,000 yuan per square meter. At that time, even with full cash, you couldn't buy a house. It was crazy. You had to pay many T fees to get a house, and you didn't even know where it was. 8 years later, now everyone has lost badly. No one escaped, especially those who in 2017 watched others buy homes and thought they could make a quick fortune. They mortgaged their houses, took out second loans, and bought homes with high leverage. They are the most tragic. Just think about it. The house in Yanjiao was 40,000 yuan, is now 10,000 yuan for a secondhand one. In Dachang, it used to be 30,000 yuan. Now it's 8,000. In Xianghe, it used to be 25,000 yuan, and now it's 5,000 yuan. The worst is in Yongqing. A house that was 25,000 yuan is now only 3,000. This is the real price story of the entire surrounding Beijing property market. The current real prices are 70% lower than the peak, and some properties have even dropped by 80%.
Some online users have pointed out that the sharp drop in Beijing's property market has spread from the surrounding areas to the city center. The removal of purchase restrictions hasn't helped stop the price drop, but has actually made things worse.
限购真的是卖家最后的心理方向。
The purchase restrictions were really the last psychological defense for sellers. Once they were removed, if no one buys, it leads to large-scale selling. Another thing is, in the past, because of the restrictions, many people were afraid to sell their homes, fearing they wouldn't be able to buy back. But now that they can buy anytime, they can sell anytime, after Beijing removed the purchase restrictions, a stampede-like sell-off began. The number of second-hand homes listed on platforms is astounding. There are currently 142,000 units listed on the front end, and the back-end inventory has reached 160,000 units. What's surprising is that as transactions happen, the number of listings continues to rise.
He gives an example from online discussions about the Rongze Jiayuan community in the Huilongguan area. This community has good transportation and living facilities, and has always been one of the top-selling communities in Beijing. But recently, the price of homes in Rongze has been plummeting. For instance, a 104 square meter 3-bedroom unit, which could be sold for 5.2 million yuan in June, dropped to 4.6 million yuan by early August, and by the end of August, it was down to 3.85 million yuan, a more than 15% drop in just 1 month. A 93 square meter 2-bedroom dropped from almost 5 million yuan in April to 3.4 million yuan, a 30% drop in 4 months. The worst hit is an 87 square meter 2-bedroom. Since August, the transaction price dropped from 3.85 million yuan to 3 million yuan. And now it's on the verge of breaking the 3 million yuan mark, with a 22% drop in just 1 month. In the past, if you wanted to buy a house in Beijing, you could only find properties in the outskirts like Yanqing or Fangshan for more than 10,000 yuan per square meter. But now things have changed. Some areas in Huilongguan have also seen prices drop to below 20,000 yuan, with some even entering the low 10,000 yuan range. Based on the current price decline trend, more properties will soon fall into this range. The purchase restriction policy was supposedly meant to suppress house prices, but in reality, it often has the opposite effect. It raised the barrier to purchasing, artificially created scarcity and limited supply, which actually pushed prices higher. But once the restrictions were removed, houses were no longer scarce, and it became easier to buy. As a result, people no longer felt the need to hold on to assets that were unlikely to increase in value. This drastically reduced the appeal of owning property. In the end, instead of the influx of buyers from other regions, all that came was a mess, and thus the removal of purchase restrictions inevitably leads to continued price declines. Some analysts point out that even the Chinese government's own propaganda has always acknowledged that the purpose of purchase restrictions was to prevent too rapid price increases. For decades, China's real estate policies have never changed. They've never wanted prices to drop. The purpose of the purchase restriction policy has always been to create market scarcity and panic when the market is close to recession, in order to push up home prices. For decades, the Chinese people have been complaining about high home prices and being unable to afford them. The government has used various methods to mislead and deceive the public, making them believe that its policies are controlling house prices. This is because the real estate industry is one of the Chinese Communist Party's most important pillar industries, a tool for the wealthy to seize wealth, and the main instrument the government uses to empty the public savings. So why is it that the government is removing the purchase restrictions now? It's because the real estate market has already collapsed, and the economic driving force has severely declined. If the restrictions aren't lifted now, China's property market will shrink even further, and the low transaction prices of individual properties will look even more terrifying. This is what the industry refers to as the price-destroying king. At the same time, the banking system's ability to take on bad debt has reached its limit. Currently, debt reduction is the only way to delay a political collapse. To reduce debt, the banks must gradually pull out from the massive real estate market, which requires liquidity to flow, thus increasing transaction volume, and removing the purchase restrictions is the only way to achieve that. So, the Chinese Communist Party is not removing the purchase restrictions willingly. To put it simply, it's like releasing floodwaters before a landslide occurs. The people who received the news have already fled, and now they're officially opening the floodgates, and the mudslide is about to happen.
回龙观顶流审判，房价腰斩，4年蒸发317万。
Let's talk about the price-destroying king today. The most recent transaction price in Rongzi Jiayuan in August, a 87 square meter south-facing unit sold for 2.83 million yuan, with a unit price of over 32,000 yuan per square meter. Looking back at the 2021 high point, the same unit type was 6 million yuan. In just 4 years, it lost 3.17 million yuan, more than a 52% drop. What's even more absurd is that just last month, the same unit sold for 3.78 million yuan, and within 30 days, it dropped by 950,000 yuan. That's more than 30,000 yuan a day. This price drop is so fast, a rocket couldn't even keep up with it. Price-destroying king title is well-deserved.
A blogger said, he pointed out that this community is actually quite decent. It's close to Haidian, not far from major tech hubs like Zhongguancun and Xibeiwang. Commuting to Haidian by subway is convenient, and the community's quality is still acceptable. So, why are these property owners so desperate to sell? There are two main reasons. First, the customer base has disappeared. In the past, the main buyers were mostly tech workers from Haidian, but with the decline in the internet industry, many have left Beijing, so there are fewer people buying or renting homes. Second, there's strong competition from new homes. A large number of new properties are being listed in the south of Changping. These new properties have higher space efficiency, better quality, and more projects are coming soon, even leaving some nearly new homes around the area unable to handle the price drop. The blogger explained that with such a large community, one extremely low-priced property can make the entire neighborhood feel unsure. Rongzi Jiayuan has 5,000 households, and with so many people, it's hard to predict which owner needs money urgently and will start a fire sale. When the market is bad, buyers will only try to push the price even lower, leading the whole neighborhood in a price death spiral. One netizen said that if home prices continue to fall like this, it could lead to social problems.
再这么跌下去，多少人的财务状况得亮红灯啊！
Now, home prices have really become a joke. If this continues, how many people's financial situations will be flashing red? In 2023, a client spent 12.3 million yuan on a house. Last month, a similar unit in the same community was sold for only 8.8 million yuan. When the client bought the house, they still owed the bank 9 million yuan in loans. If they sell now, not only will they not get any money, they'll have to pay an additional 200,000 yuan out of pocket. If this continues, I really worry that a large number of people won't be able to hold on any longer and will start defaulting on their loans. Some people say that home prices will keep dropping for another 2 or 3 years, and I just want to ask, can we still afford this? If prices really keep dropping for another 2 or 3 years, how many families will fall apart? How many will end up in ruins?
The more severe issue is, even if people are willing to grit their teeth and sell at a loss, it's not easy. One homeowner said,
房子从300多万
My house has been on the market for more than 2 months. I've shown it to potential buyers over a dozen times, but there's been no progress. In these 2 months, the price has been reduced twice, but there's still no effect. There hasn't been an increase in showings, and no one's expressing interest in buying. Today, the agent came again to discuss and suggesting lowering the price further. The house has dropped from over 3 million yuan to just over 1 million yuan. How is it still not selling? In the current market environment, is it really necessary to lower the price to bargain basement levels? I had to put off looking for a job earlier, so I could be available for house showings, but now I've lost time searching for a job and the house still hasn't sold. This homeowner's experience is a reflection of what many struggling property owners in Beijing are going through. The common reason they haven't sold their homes is that they fail to realize the nature and severity of the real estate collapse. They've been deceived by the Chinese Communist Party for so long that they became used to it, always thinking the prices would eventually go back up. They didn't take the decisive step to lower the price in one go and missed the few opportunities they had. A real estate agent shared some harsh truths.
大家知道现在北京的二手房挂牌量是多少吗？
Do you know how many secondhand homes are listed in Beijing right now? Some people say it's 120,000. Others say it's 160,000. The actual number is over 180,000. Do you know how long it takes to sell a tower from the 80s or 90s? The transaction cycle is over 18 months. This isn't an exaggeration. The price of buying the wrong property now is more terrifying than not being able to afford one.
He went on to say that the current state of Beijing's real estate market is like buying a new car. As soon as you buy it, it depreciates, whether it's a BMW, Mercedes, BYD, or even Xiaomi. The myth of school district homes has collapsed. Last year, a school district home sold for 120,000 yuan per square meter. Now the same unit type has been listed for 10 months with no interest. Why is this happening? The reason is simple. Fewer babies are being born. There are half as many newborns now compared to 8 years ago. Beijing used to have 200,000 babies born annually, but now it's only 70 to 80,000. But it's not just Beijing. Cities like Shenzhen and Shanghai, major first-tier cities, have also seen homes fall by more than 50%. A Shenzhen resident said, houses that used to sell for 120,000 yuan per square meter can now only be sold for 38,000. The once popular star property in Nanshan, Yueliang Bay Garden, has seen its prices plummet by 70%. Now, 70% of the owners in the community have lost all their money. A Shanghai netizen said, in Shanghai's inner ring, houses are now being sold for less than 1 million yuan. In the Huangjing Park area near Yangpu's inner ring, 2 old, run-down apartments were quickly sold for 850,000 and 880,000 yuan respectively. A few years ago, no one would even think about buying a house in the inner ring for just a few $100,000. Many netizens have pointed out that major companies in Shanghai are laying off workers and cutting salaries. Prices in the suburbs have dropped back to what they were 10 years ago, and many can't even afford their monthly mortgage payments. Many people are now envious of those who don't own homes and don't have mortgage debt. A netizen from Beijing said, the property market is seeing a stampede-style sell-off. The term stampede is used accurately because this is an extreme panic caused by the bursting of this bubble, specifically the lie that China's real estate market will never decline.